We're talking chicken with business editor Richard Southern, who joins us now. One of the most popular and controversial fast food chains in the U.S. They've hatched a plan to come here to Toronto.
It is Chick-Fil-A, Melissa, very popular in the U.S. This is a chain known for its fried chicken sandwiches. It's done very well throughout the United States. And now it's going to open a location in Toronto. We don't know the exact location yet, but this is going to be its first international restaurant. It's going to open next year, and they're planning 15 across the GTA in the coming years. But this chain is controversial. I want to show you some of the past controversies with this chain. Back in 2012, it donated millions of dollars to fund groups that fund conversion therapy, anti-gay conversion therapy, giving money to these groups. They also gave money to groups that opposed the fight for marriage equality. As well, I want to show you a quote from its owner, Dan Cathy. He, in 2012, said, quote, "I think we are inviting God's judgment on our nation when we shake our fist at him and say, we know better than you as to what constitutes marriage. And I pray God's mercy on our generation that has such a prideful, arrogant attitude to think we have the audacity to define what marriage is all about." This is a chain that takes its values from Southern Baptist beliefs. It doesn't open on Sunday, and it has this anti-gay past. Is it going to fly in Toronto? I asked one of its executives. Here's what he had to say.
We actually are excited to get up there. We're going to provide a welcoming environment for everyone who comes to our doors. We're going to treat people the way they'd like to be treated and treat everyone with honor, dignity, and respect.
I mean, do you subscribe to these beliefs too, sir?
You know, I'm not. What we've learned is we're going to focus on being a great restaurant company and serving our customers in our community. And that's what we're going to stay focused on.
I press you on it only because this is a city, again, that holds its LGBTQ rights very dear, one of the biggest pride parades in the world. And, you know, your history speaks for itself. And if you're asking people to come in the doors, I think you might need to give a little bit better explanation than the one you've given.
Yeah, and not only do we understand that, we appreciate it. Actually, several of us went up and attended the Pride Month and really were struck by, this is a great example of people taking care of each other.
Will you then, will you say that you will no longer fund any anti-gay conversion therapy groups? Will you make that commitment today?
I can't make a commitment on behalf of the company. My understanding is that has already ceased.
So I don't know, Melissa, if that's going to cut it for a lot of people in the city. You know, we've seen them try and go into places like Chicago, and there's been a big pushback. We'll see what happens next year when Chick-Fil-A opens in the city.
Well, they wouldn't just be taking a gamble. They would have done the research and figured they would be able to have a business here.
Sure, and I actually have talked to some food analysts today that say just that. Hey, they're going to be fine because people are going to go in and buy these popular chicken sandwiches, but you know, maybe people aren't aware of the past, and that's it. It does speak for itself, and it's up to you whether or not you're going to want to eat there.
Hey, this is Chris with News at 6. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Let's talk about Chick-fil-A coming to Toronto in 2019. Now, one of the last things that you guys heard in that video was maybe they will be successful in Toronto, because not a lot of people know about their controversial past. But if you're watching this video, you obviously know now. So like I always say, your opinion is definitely more important than mine. So please do leave it in the comments. Are you going to support this restaurant chain? You going to eat there? You're going to give them your money? Or are you going to boycott them? Right? Do you think they're actually going to survive in Toronto? Keeping in mind, Toronto has a very, very large gay population. We host, as you heard earlier, one of the largest gay pride parades around the world. Do you think they're going to actually survive in Toronto? Because they said there's one coming next year, but they're planning on opening 15 across Toronto. So again, leave it in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. Please be respectful, and also don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, I want to give you guys my opinion, of course. Now, I will not be going to Chick-fil-A. I will not support them at all. I got lots of gay friends. My sister's gay, and I know the spokesperson said that he believes that they are no longer funding, you know, anti-gay therapy groups, but I think he said hundreds of millions or millions. It doesn't matter. Anything. They are funding or were funding those type of groups, you know, and they're not open up on Sundays. So the reason why I'm, you know, putting emphasis on that is because, again, you know, they're very obviously staunched in their religion. Right. So, again, hence why they're not open up on Sundays. And, you know, a lot of it gets kind of sticky. But when you talk about Christianity, you know, some people will say they're against homosexuality, which would obviously kind of lean into why they were funding these anti-gay therapy groups. So for me, it's a no-go. I will not be eating there. I don't care how good Chick-fil-A is. I just can't support a group like that. And besides, like, even if they stop, that's not enough to just stop. Like, you now have to do something for that specific community. So, I mean, what will be interesting is if they come to Toronto and they embrace the gay community. If they do that, and they openly apologize, and maybe they have. If they have, please leave it in the comments. You know, I'm here to learn too. But if they come to Toronto and they openly embrace the gay community, well, then maybe that's a totally different story, because we're human. We make mistakes. But they did something specifically to that community, so they need to do something specifically for that community to rectify themselves, if you want my opinion. So with that, like I always say, again, your opinion is more important than mine. Please do leave it in the comments. Do you think they're going to survive in Toronto? Are you going to support them? Are you going to boycott them? Please also be respectful in your comments as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can follow us on Twitter at News@6. That's NEWSAT, the number 6IX. See what I did there, right? All right, you guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. You're welcome, Toronto.